Hey folks, Tamara Williams Van Horn with Auntie Corn Leadership Strategies, and um, I was talking to a colleague of mine today, and one of the themes of what we talk about a lot is that there is no one way to be Black. There's no one way to be Black. There's no right way to be Black, and no one gets to tell you how to be Black. Especially when your iteration, your embodiment of Blackness is self-loving. I can't speak on those who are not trying to embody self-love, who are uninterested in self-love, who are uninterested in Blackness. I will not speak to that. That is not who I'm speaking with or to or for or about. But I think a lot of times, especially in this social media mediated world, I think right now one of the things that we see a lot, I'm outside on the path, and no, I'm not going to re-record this. I think one of the things that we see a lot is this idea that someone else has it figured out because they have a louder voice, or because they've built a social media platform, or because they have followers, or because they have a course, or because they wrote a book, or because they speak from a pulpit or have a title, whether that's a secular or religious title or spiritual leader title. And it reminds me of that line in Purple Rain. I got my purple today. It reminds me of that line in Purple Rain where Prince says, "You say you want a leader, but you can't seem to make up your mind." We could probably use more self-leadership, more self-trust, more self-direction, more self-soothing,
So you're talking about the special?
so that we can get closer to self-respect, self-compassion, self-honoring, self-trust, and self-love. Now, I say this fully aware of some of the choices that I have made that could signal to an ungenerous reader that I am not practicing some of those things. And I am content with letting people think what they think. Those people were never going to be on my side anyway. And if I don't get you with my takes on Blackness, I'm going to get you with my takes on feminism. I'm definitely going to get you with my takes on queer and trans folks and queer and trans being, and, probably a whole bunch of other stuff too. So, the reason that I'm really bringing this up is there's so much going on. And in particular, I am thinking about my siblings in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. was one of the original chocolate cities, right? It's always been a mecca, a concentration point, a place where a lot of Black people live and work and make their lives. And in so many ways, it's such a delicate space. It's not a state. It's pure taxation without representation in so many ways. Folks there have very limited political capacity to move within the federal space. And I'm being very specific on my wording. I'm choosing my words intentionally. And right now, our federal government is basically taking over the police, sending in the National Guard, right? Like strong arming this place so that it kowtows to a federal will. And of course, I have feelings about that. That said, there's no one way for Black America. I really just have a problem with that as terminology, but you get what I'm saying. The population of folks outside of DC in the United States to respond. There's no one right way. There's no one right way that comes from an ethic of self-love or self-trust or self-determination or self-direction, and that's just the reality of the reality of the reality of all of it. And one of the reasons that I have such a problem with such a totalitizing term as Black America is because the nature of our existence on this continent is such that there's never been an ability to be a united front, like of a singular mind. First of all, we are an amalgamation. We are the people of the darker hue, to quote Key and Peele. We are comprised of so many parts of the continent, so many dispersions of the continent. And then when you add the various people that we mated with and produced progeny with throughout the centuries, the story that emerges on this shores from the collective of Black folks is vast and brings in so much other stuff, so many different voices and cultures and traditions and dreams and possibilities. So there's no one way. And I don't know, that's what's on my mind. I don't really have much more than that. There's no one way. There's no one way to be Black in the United States. There's no one course of action. There's no magic solution, no singular anything that will change everything for all of us in a positive fashion. And then if we allow for just 1 second the other bit to come in, not everybody wants Black people to survive. Not every Black person wants Black people, the formation, the culture, to survive. And I do. I want Black people to survive. I want Black people to be free. I want Black people to thrive. And I want Black people to have the capacity to shape a world that we feel good about giving to our children, the future. So that means Black people gotta survive. We get to survive. We get to thrive. We get to determine our own Afro futures. And we get to do that in the formations that we actually find ourselves in. So whether we're gay or queer or single parenting or disabled or poor or anti-capitalist or non-religious or Muslim or Jewish or immigrant or an amalgamation of different experiences, whatever that is, the self-loving Black human formation deserves to thrive on these shores. And we deserve to come together in pods and pockets and cohorts and collectives that have our best interests at heart. And we deserve to move freely, not only on the land, but in here. So I don't know if that's a pep talk. I don't know if that's some musings. I don't know what that was. I opened my mouth to start channeling, to talk about what was on my mind, and that was what came up. And I really, I'm just really sending love and solidarity and support and freedom thoughts to Washington, D.C. You all are so powerful, and that is why they are trying to suppress you. Keep the faith. Keep the fight. Black people uniting can never be defeated. Ashe.